Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Let Me Think podcast. My name is Gosia. I'm co-host along with Emily, my friend. I'm a life coach and a conscious living and well-being writer. And Emily can kindly introduce herself.
Thank you. And I'm Emily. I'm a spiritual coach. I read tarot and I am primarily a writer. I just published a book called Twin Flames, The Love Story Within. And yeah, we are back with our 5th episode here about life purpose. So,
That's right. We've had a little break. Life has got into the way.
It's related to life purpose. Gosia started a real life job, but I mean, she went back to work like 9 to 5, right?
Yeah, 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. And that's my current life right now.
And so what do you think that is, have you had any realizations about your life purpose in relation to that life event?
Yes, well, what I've realized is that majority of people, they come into work without any meaning. People have a tendency to just not have a plan and just put themselves first. I mean, it's not bad to put yourself first, but that's in a completely different way. So, for example, prioritizing money, for example, without any meaning behind it. It's okay to get paid for what you do. It's beautiful to get paid for what you do, especially when you help people. However, if your meaning is to only earn money without any deeper meaning and purpose behind it, that's where it becomes a problem, because we then live from the ego. We don't dig deeper and seek our soul's answers and what our soul actually wants to do, what it actually came here to do. But instead of listening to the soul, we have a tendency, majority of people have a tendency to just listen to their ego.
Yeah, that's like living in fear of not having money, right?
It is indeed living in fear of not having money and wanting to have money to not contribute to something bigger, to society, to a change or transformation for the better, but actually for themselves, purely for themselves. And again, I'm not saying it's not okay to earn money and invest in yourself. That's beautiful. I think investing in our personal development, growth, and spiritual growth in particular is beautiful and it's needed. However, when we spend our money and our motivation to earn money is purely for egoistic purposes, that's when it becomes a problem, because we end up being unhappy and unfulfilled. And what I'm starting to see a pattern in people that they wear a mask. They wear a mask of being a bubbly person, but in reality, they are driven by fear and they just pretend to be someone they're not. And deep down, they're very unhappy and unfulfilled because they're driven by their ego.
Yeah,
not by the soul.
I mean, I truly believe that all people desperately want to live a purposeful life in all aspects, and they don't want to have a job where they're just like, well, it's just a paycheck. So many people say that. It's okay to say your job doesn't define you, I think, although that worries me too. Well, I mean, that's your ego talking, right? When you're like, I'm defined by being a mother, I'm defined by my job, I'm defined by what I do in my community. That's a role you play. That's how your ego defines itself in this world. But it does even worry me when people say, well, my job doesn't define me, because I used to say that, and then I realized there is a way to work for money, offering your skills and unique talents that is deeply satisfying to your soul and purpose. And I think it is okay to define yourself by what you do, but it's very hard to get there.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
indeed.
Yeah.
I think it's mostly about that balance, about knowing what it is that we want to do, and be driven by wanting to serve others, instead of driven by money or materialistic things, for example.
Mm-hmm.
So in my current job, I actually help people get the job, and what I get jobs, so get back into employment. So what I've realized for the past few weeks, that the entire business that I joined is purely driven by profit and by statistics and KPIs, and there's not much going on about actually helping people get back into the work, because the whole purpose of the business I joined and the mission statement is that they want people to find sustainable work that they enjoy doing. But in reality, what I've noticed, what I've realized is all that matters is just getting people back into work as soon as possible, and any type of work. So actually getting them signed on courses that they want to do. So for example, they want a career change. They don't want to be doing warehouse work, for example, anymore. They want to do something different. It's very difficult to upskill them or change their career, help them to change their career. So the entire business is actually based more on profits and getting results as soon as possible, instead of just helping people get a job they really want. So that was very disappointing to actually find out about that, because the reason I joined the business wasn't only purely because of money, because I'm past that period. I have left my fashion career because I was just tired of living a life that was constantly on the go, and working in a fast-paced environment that was driven by profit, mainly on selling fashion. So the reason, the real reason why I actually chose this job was because I wanted to help people and wanted to do something meaningful, something that has a purpose. But in reality, it turned out a little different than I thought.
I think that the minute any business venture turns from being human driven to being profit driven, it's like that's when it turns into disaster. It might not seem like disaster, but it's like, are you really happy at the end of the day with the money that you're making? Are you feeling fulfilled? Because at the end of your life, you can't take your money with you to the next place, right? But you can take the feelings that you built and how you helped people.
Yes.
And I truly believe that, like, anybody who starts a business or starts doing something, offering their services to actually help people, that the universe will manifest abundance for you. You will find, it will open up for you. But the more you're trying to do something that is just profit driven, and you're setting aside, you can be profit driven and human driven maybe equally, and that might work. But if you care more about money and you will step on some people or push them down to get there, I feel like then you're just always going to be struggling to make that money. You might get it, but it's always going to be a little bit harder. That's like the laws of the universe, in my opinion. The spiritual laws, right?
Yeah, I agree. Yes, what I've noticed, I've noticed something very particular, and namely, people, although they wear that mask of being bubbly and happy. As an empath, as a life coach as well, I can
You can
see
tell.
through all of that. I can see
Yeah.
through that. So deep down, they're very stressed. They're very
Yeah.
stressed
And they're
and
depressed. Yeah.
depressed. So to give you an example, I've noticed people's habits. Many people just don't even eat. They smoke all the time. They go for a cigarette outside, or by the way they act, or the way they are in their body. They have a nervous behavior. I can just tell that from just looking at them or just talking with them.
Yeah.
So living in that way is actually taking away the precious life force energy.
Yeah.
Whatever it is that's going on in their mind, it's taking their precious energy. And
Yeah.
I can see that it's visible, and they cannot hide that. And many people may not notice that, but I have the ability to actually see through all of that. And it's saddening, because life could be lived in such a flowy and gentle way, yet people choose to be stressed and anxious because they're driven by the wrong values, I think, or lack of values and fear. Yeah.
Or they've just been, like all of us growing up, they've been programmed to think you have to have a job like that. It is normal to be unhappy in a job 40 hours a week, spending more time with people that you might not even like, or doing things you don't like doing, than with your own loved ones. I think that is wrong.
Yeah.
I don't think we should believe that. I don't think we should condition people to study something that they don't really like to study, or to do something they don't really like to do. I think we should tell people, if you find what you are really meant to be doing, the money will work itself out. It will work out. The opportunities will come. You may not be a millionaire, but maybe you're not supposed to be. If you are living every day happily with enough for what you need to live with to survive, not just survive, but also be happy and thrive, doesn't mean you have more than enough. It means you're existing in the balance you're supposed to be. Then I think that's success, but it's like we're conditioned to think that more money is better, more. We always have to have more. And a lot of us support other human beings in our lives. So that's another layer of fear, is if I lose my job or I quit my job, how am I going to support my children or my dependents? And that is really scary. So that it's like, it does, even to me, seem like that is an okay sacrifice your happiness for money. But what do you think? What do you think about that? Like, because to me, I don't even know what I would say to somebody like that. I still believe that they should be happy first, because their dependents really need them to be thriving. But
so I'm going to go deeper into that by introducing the Eckhart Tolle philosophy of just accepting what is. So I am a big believer, and I've actually seen the results in my own life, that by just accepting what is and not creating resistance, we can, maybe we cannot be happy and excited about the job we don't particularly enjoy doing, or some people may even hate it, but it is possible to actually accept the job that we don't like. And I'm not saying that we're going to make it more meaningful. I'm not saying that it's going to be pleasurable to be going to work that we don't enjoy doing. However, we are able to accept our life circumstances as they are, and what happens after that, when we are able to hold that mindset of just accepting what is and not creating resistance in our life, we automatically open ourselves up to our life purpose and what is meant to be. But we just have to develop that resilience and patience. So what I've noticed is it's just easier to live everyday life by accepting that it is what it is, finding positive sides of the current situation, even if we don't like the situation. But then liking or not liking something is ego as well. It's an attachment to how things should be. Yeah, how things should be.
Or it's an attachment to, like, I am a person who prefers this over this. And how things should be, expectations, outcomes. That's all ego. Those are all ego things. Again, ego is not a really bad thing. We must have our egos to be individuals. Of course, but to be self-aware is everything.
Exactly. So that self-awareness is important. So knowing what it is that we want to create in our life, and believe that it is coming. It's first of all that it is possible and that it is coming to us, but then resting in peace and accepting the present moment as it is, so we could allow for that future to unfold easily, and we can manifest it more easily and quickly.
I think gratitude is another big part of that.
It
because
is.
if you're grateful for what you already have right now, then you're always going to feel fulfilled. It's hard though sometimes.
It is.
So wait,
hard.
I wanna ask you, you were saying before we started recording this podcast, you were telling me you had a revelation yesterday, you had an aha moment, and I told you to stop so you could say it to me for the first time on this recording. So what was it?
So I don't know if our listeners are familiar with the concept of the play, and that our life is
a script.
Is a script, is a play. So I've had some profound realizations of why my life is currently looking the way it is looking, why I found myself in that job, and that it's actually a lot of fun to be able to be a part of it. So
it's like watching it instead of being in it, right?
Yes. So I was able to actually watch it as an observer and laugh at it. It was like a drama comedy, because the people I work with, they have their own dramas, they have their own identities, and most of the time they lack self-awareness. And just linking it to the life purpose, I've realized that life purpose doesn't necessarily mean we have to always do what we enjoy. That was a huge realization of me, because yes, we come here with certain gifts and talents, and eventually we'll be able to utilize them in contributing to society, to change, to transformation, and to consciousness rising, right? And however, it is possible to find a purpose in a job we don't enjoy, simply by realizing that you have been intentionally planted, your universe has intentionally planted you in that place, so you can raise consciousness of the people that you work with
around you.
And that was profound.
Home,
yes. And that was profound.
You never know what kind of effect you're having there.
Yes.
You might never know.
Exactly. But there's one condition. There's one condition for making this meaningful. You have to be yourself. You have to be authentic. Because this is the only way you can actually contribute and make a change, by just being yourself, by saying your truth.
Saying your truth, not holding back on what you really think, I
Yes.
have a problem with that. I always have in jobs, except maybe when I was a teacher. I was my true self. I was a fun teacher. I would say spontaneous things. But in like office jobs that I've held, I have in the past, I'm realizing it now. Maybe I won't in the next one, but in the past I have held back. I don't speak up in a meeting when I disagree about something. I don't ask a difficult question. Usually,
Yeah.
I think of myself as a person who does that, but then when it actually comes to it, in the past I have not been that person who's authentic at
Mm.
work. But I think now in the past 2 years, all the things that have happened to me, I'm a very different person.
Yeah.
I will not hold back. I might still hold back with like my parents or something, but that's different. Like, last night my dad was saying, because we have I was doing some family ancestry work, and my great grandfather wrote a book called
Yeah.
Understanding the Occult. And I was reading some parts of it to him where he had a premonition that his mother was about to die and saw a vision of it, of the funeral. And that really did happen a few days later. And
Mm.
anyway, he was saying, uh, just out of the blue, it had like, it was not necessary to what we were doing with like family ancestry, but he said, these things, these spiritual things, there's no difference than a religion. Okay, if he ever listened to this podcast, he would disagree that he said it in that way. So I apologize, Dad, if you listen. But he basically said that. Yeah. So I don't speak my truth with my immediate family.
It's
But
hard. It's hard.
I can do it. I know it's hard. Because it's like I don't even want to sit around and talk about how all these things are basically a religion. Like, I don't know. So it's a
Mm.
struggle. Maybe I'll get there
It is
someday. My
indeed.
extended family, because our common ancestor was like psychic, they should be accepting of me. But anyway, but yeah, at work, I don't think any of what we're saying means that at work you're gonna tell your coworkers that you read tarot and you like talk to dead people or anything, unless it comes up. I
Unless
would
it
if it
comes
came
up,
up, but
astrology came up a couple of
oh,
times. Yes, there's a couple of people, ladies, actually, who told me that they believe that astrology is very useful, and it's true.
what'd
So
you
that
say?
was yes, I agreed, because
Uh-huh.
I believe that too. I believe that um the day and time we born is orchestrated. It's not a coincidence, and that we come to this earth with particular gifts and also particular karma that we need to work through.
Did you tell them
Mm,
that?
uh, no.
did, did you say, well, Venus is opposite the moon today, and that means you're really emotional, so I don't want to deal with you.
I didn't
No,
go into detail. We talk mostly about personality, like how
yeah,
it affects our personality. Yeah.
yeah. No, but what I meant was like, yeah, those like spiritual, occult, or esoteric things might come up at work. I don't think that's what we mean though in all of this and being authentic at work. It means when something wrong is going on. And I'm a Libra, by the way. So I'm a Libra
Mm,
in like a lot of different positions in my birth chart. So when something is wrong, it bothers me because I believe in equality and fairness.
mm,
But I
yeah.
usually, like I said, in the past, I was too scared to speak up. But I believe being authentic for me especially means when something is not right at work, something is not going well. No, it has to be brought up.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. And it's so liberating as well. And actually, if you are to find a life purpose, if you struggle like to find a life purpose, I think being authentic is crucial, is key.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
and just being yourself is fulfilling your life purpose, I think, because everyone's different, but the way we're being brought up and what we're being taught at school and the expectations we have from society, it tells us otherwise, tells us that we're all the same, and everyone's trying to put us in the box where everyone's different, and if only people allow themselves to be themselves and not be afraid of judgment, because this is what I've noticed, that this is the biggest problem, that people are afraid of judgment. And why is that?
And losing
why is
their
that?
job because their boss
Because
will be
of
like,
rejection.
why did you say that? Yeah.
Yes.
And then
it's
you're
fear
gonna
of
get
rejection.
fired.
Yeah.
Or you won't get fired. Maybe the next time there's a promotion, you won't get it. Whatever. It's the fear. You'd rather go with the flow, and suck up, right? So I think being authentic is literally the opposite of sucking up to your superiors.
It's the
right?
opposite.
You think you can be authentic and do that at the same time? Maybe.
I think you can, because
probably a way.
what I think the problem is that we being taught authority, like that we should respect some people more than the others. And I'm against that. I feel that everyone's equal. And if someone is a manager, it doesn't mean that I have to bend the knee
No.
in front
well,
of them.
Hopefully, the best managers are people who want their employees to speak up and contradict them and teach them something new.
Yes, because they actually want to make a change. There's unfortunately very rare.
Yeah, it is rare. We don't have to get into all that though, but yeah, just wrapping up here about life purpose. This has been fun to talk about. It's not, I didn't want our listeners to think that it's all about jobs and career, but that is what a lot of people, at least in our Western world that we live in, like identify with as life purpose. But your purpose, of course, could be that you don't have a career right now and you are a mother, a full-time parent,
yes,
a father, or a caretaker of someone. So I think there's an Alan Watts quote that when I was a teacher, I was a teacher in South Korea, and I taught high school, and one of the lessons I taught, because I could do whatever I wanted there, so I would play weird clips and stuff, and I found this Alan Watts YouTube clip where he's saying, what would you do if money was no object? And I would have the students learn what that means in English. And he said, I listened to it like 1,000 times because I taught that class over and over again. But he said, what would you do if money was no object? Would you ride horses? Would you play piano? Would you help people? What would you be on Wall Street trading stocks?
Maybe? Would you travel the world?
If money, if you never had to worry about money, what would you be doing? And he said,
or would you just be yourself?
Or just be, and he said, that's what you're meant to be doing, and the money will work itself out. Okay, I added that last part, but I think that's what he meant.
No, I agree. I agree. Everything will eventually work out. We just need to allow ourselves to go with the flow, to not live in fear. And just be ourselves. And if you're looking for the life purpose, where you need to start is just by getting to know yourself. I think that is an important question. How you can do that? It's via meditation. And Emily is a great meditation teacher. Also self-reflection questions that I'm really good at asking as a life coach as well. It helps a lot.
So go to Gosia's website and book a session with her. What's your website?
It's Małgorzata-Wietko.com. We'll put the links down.
The links are in the description of our podcast.
In the description.
And if you want to take one of my meditation classes, I've been doing them monthly. It's a course, actually. It lasts 3 weeks. And you can go to my website, which is also in the description, but it's wellnessoneness.com. But yes, meditation is a great way to know yourself and know your purpose.
Indeed.
I think it's very okay to take a break in your life if you are able to reflect and then come back to figure out what you're supposed to be
I
doing.
agree. I agree. If you have some financial support that you can get, maybe some savings, like just don't be afraid to take some time off. Like even a month or two would be crucial in the personal development and getting to know yourself and who you actually are, what you want from life, like apart from what society tells you to do.
Tells you to do. You have to do a
Yeah.
lot of reprogramming yourself, but
That's right.
it's possible. You can do it. All right.
It is possible.
Well, thank you for listening to yet another episode.
Thank you. I hope you enjoyed our conversation about life purpose and authenticity.
Yes, we'll see you guys and talk to you guys next time. Bye for now.
Bye for now.